The Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. With your hosts, Joe Bond.
You're awful.
And AJ Applegarth.
It's Sin Shu Chu. It's a mouthful.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, my co-host, AJ Applegarth. What is up, man?
Football. That is what is up.
Yeah, baby. It's back. Week 1. We're here, and I know our boy Dave Eddy is super happy. Gronk got at least one touchdown already. So let's do it.
Nice.
My mom, who I just ripped for taking him as the 5th tight end, is probably about to text me and tell me, you suck.
Me,
So-
who you also ripped.
But you didn't take him as the 5th tight end overall in your league. No, not quite. Yeah, he just scored. So, all right, man. So, yeah, week 1 is here. We're ready to rock and roll. We got Dallas and Tampa on right now. Tampa is winning 14-7. Yeah, we're ready to get you guys ready for week 1 of your fantasy football seasons. Before we get going, though, just want to remind everybody to subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Periscope, wherever you listen, iTunes, Spotify, etc. We appreciate your support. And, yeah. Let's get rolling here. Let's bring in our guest first here. Shane Barrett, founder of Fantasy Football Collective, writer for Going for Two, co-host of the Fantasy Nightcap podcast. You are a busy man. What's going on, Shane?
Busy is almost an understatement. Yeah, I'm good. So happy that football is finally here. I'm a big college football fan, so I got a little bit of a dose of it last week, and then NFL is here now. So I'm ready to rock, man.
Absolutely. Who do you root for in college?
Auburn and Notre Dame.
Okay, I can go over with Auburn. I'm not needing Notre Dame. We're Hokies.
Most people aren't Notre Dame people.
Yeah. Anyway, we won't comment anymore on that.
My grandfather went there.
I benched Gronk.
You benched Gronk. No. For who?
For Ertz. I don't know.
I don't know him. Okay.
That show's great.
AJ's no longer my co-host. He's been fired for being an idiot. Jeez. Against Dallas? Come on. They're terrible. All right. Anyway, man. So we got a good show ahead of us. A lot of week 1 talk here, kind of end of the preseason kind of news and notes and things like that, and then we'll jump into some picks and stuff for the week. But before we jump into anything, let's do our favorite segment here, Beer of the Week.
Beer.
All right, Shane, guest of honor, what you got, man?
Yeah, I am drinking Trop Hop. It is a tropical IPA with grapefruit and passion fruit. I'm going to tell on myself here a little bit. My guilty pleasure show is Southern Charm on Bravo. And one of the one of the people on there, Austin, is actually the guy that brews this. And so he actually launched it in Greenville this weekend, but he's from Charleston. So that's where it originally started. And I was actually in Charleston this weekend. So I got some there, but he was here in Greenville. So I really like it. It's got a ton of flavor, 6.1% alcohol by volume. It's really good.
Nice.
Good stuff, man.
I dabble in the Southern Charm with the wife occasionally. We haven't seen it lately because I don't know. We don't have cable anymore, but I'm sure it's streaming somewhere that we can find it. But yes, I myself am drinking an Other Half Brewing, past and present. It's been a while since I've had Other Half. Joe drinks it all the time, so there's my past, and the present is right now.
All right. I am drinking the last of the beers that you gave me, AJ, the Victory Cosmic Connection. I have not had this yet. It is an 8%er. It is a sour New England style double IPA. So
Yeah,
sour.
I'm interested to know what you think.
Yeah, because I'm not a sour fan, but obviously I like the doubles, so we'll see.
Face will say it all.
Yeah, you can taste the sour. I gave it like a 3. It's not my bag, but it's all right.
Out of 10?
5. Out of 5. So it's on Untapped. We check in everything on Untapped here. So
Well, I got to remember my login. Then we can add each other as friends.
yeah, we'll figure it out afterwards. All right, man. So we had some other stuff that we were going to get into first, but obviously we all got bombed with the news, mid this afternoon. The guest bus went down. The Ravens lost yet another running back, and it's just brutal. I mean, all 3 that were on the roster to start the season, to start the preseason, are no longer there. ACL tear. I mean, now it's Tyson Williams time, I suppose. I mean, he's going to get a huge bump in value here, at least early on, while guys like Le'Veon Bell, and they just signed Devonta Freeman, and there's a lot of rumors that they might try to go out and grab like Latavius Murray as well. I mean, like, why not? What's your thoughts here with this backfield, and is it something that you're going to target early on with Tyson Williams?
I've grabbed him in a couple leagues. I actually grabbed him and Justice Hill wherever I could. And when Hill went out, I was just like, all right, bye. And just started cutting him.
Right.
And then now it's like, okay, well, do I start Tyson Williams this week or not? I really don't know, but I think it's become one of those backfields you almost don't want to have any part of, in my opinion, at least long term. So this week I might throw a dart at, I'm in way too many leagues, so I might throw a dart at Tyson Williams this week. But long term, I am probably trying to get out of that backfield wherever I can. Yeah,
I'll be honest. I was in a family league this past weekend, drafted Tyson Williams with the next to last pick. Was actually surprised he lasted that long because it's a bunch of Ravens fans. And so when I took him, half the league groaned at me, and I was like, "Yeah!" So now I'm like, "Who was Tyson Williams? Come and get him! Trade." That's the thing. His value, I feel like at this point isn't really going to get much higher, because eventually Bell's going to chip in. Freeman is going to chip in. This is going to be a 3-4-man backfield if they sign somebody else soon. I just don't see any of these guys really just being the dude.
The only one that would intrigue me is Latavius Murray if he goes there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really good fit. And Murray, I think, still has enough left in the tank. So, him getting
didn't
cut
look like it last year, but yeah,
was kind of surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I agree with you. It's one of those, I just, no. It sucks. I'm in a million best ball leagues, it feels like, and I have Gus Edwards so many places. I was taking him in, the 12th round, earlier in the summer, and now when JK went down, I was like, yeah! Now I'm like, oh, now it doesn't matter. So.
I did my work league draft Tuesday night. And I'm going to pull up the draft board because where he went, I was stunned.
Oh, he was going fourth round in a lot of leagues. I grabbed him in our Maryland league, AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sucked. I think they kind of double tabbed running back there. I got Mike Davis right there too, so they kind of balanced it back out. But
he went 4-5 in my work league draft.
Yeah,
before I took. Where did it go? I keep losing this, and I should. There it is. One pick before I took DeAndre Swift.
I don't. At the time, Edwards was the guy. He was honestly to me the only guy they were gonna really trust to carry the ball there. I thought he was going to easily be a top 20 back, and now that he's not there, we're trusting an undrafted free agent. and then like a washed up Le'Veon Bell and Freeman. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. Like, who's here for the Lamar Jackson 1,500-yard train? I kid, but I mean, really, it could happen, guys. Like,
It could very easily happen now.
I mean, like, I thought about bumping Lamar up a couple more spots in my rankings because of it, and I just didn't pull the trigger right before right before they locked on Fantasy Pros. But it is what it is. But yeah, just another massive injury here. But and of course, I have a feeling that was going to be one of the teams that we were interested in watching, and still might be, coming up here in our next segment. So players, teams, situations, things that are interesting to us as the season starts, like something you are paying close attention to. Shane, I'll let you go first.
So I put a handful of these down. And the first one I'm actually going to go with is actually the last one I put down. It's the Jets running back room. Okay. Because I think a lot of fantasy Twitter, including myself, is on the Michael Carter hype train. But then there's also some, hey, look out for Ty Johnson. He's going to be sneaky. And then they still have LaMichael Pirine, and I know not a ton of people probably love LaMichael Pirine, but he's a guy that I was intrigued by last year in rookie drafts and would take him late when I could get him. So I'm just interested to see how the touches end up getting split in this, because that has a huge impact for fantasy. I think Michael Carter is the most talented back there. I'm not necessarily sleeping on Ty Johnson, but Carter just seems to fit that scheme so well and is really, really talented, especially for someone who's my size at 5'8".
Yeah, the guy's incredible. I mean, Notre Dame fan. You watch probably plenty of ACC football. I mean, him and Williams both just destroyed teams last year. Yeah. And so, like, I know he got a little, trumped by Williams a little bit, but I mean, if he wasn't there, like, we'd all be all over Carter. I mean, he would have, the stats he would have put up by himself would have been astronomical. He's such a good player. He's tiny, but I mean, like, that can work for running back. I don't know. I like that one, but AJ, what else you got?
Yeah, I mean, we can't forget that Tevin Coleman's there too.
That was the one I was forgetting.
Yeah, I mean, I totally missed it. You didn't say his name.
That was the one I was forgetting.
So many.
Well, I mean, Pirine, I'm a fan of as well, and he to me is the biggest back that they have, and it's not by much, but he's bulky and he's the tallest of their group. I want to say he's only like still 6'1" or something, though. He's not super tall, but I think if he gets some touches, he could surprise some people. But to me, I know there's a lot of hype going in on Ty Johnson. I feel like there's just as much on Tevin Coleman, though. I mean, he's apparently getting the starting gig, but I don't know. I mean, this is a very fluid situation, so we'll see how it goes week to week. And and Coleman is used to being starter this week, backup the next week, injured for 3 weeks, starter again, and whatever. So hopefully that doesn't happen to him this year. It probably will, now that I said that.
Well, that's probably why I forgot about Coleman.
Yeah. I mean, he's not on the field enough. So I think he's going to have the slight edge, but Carter is definitely he's definitely talented. So
Carter feels like one of those, like the rookie running backs last year, where they all sort of jumped off the page halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Like Carter could be that guy. They're going to slow roll him into the offense for some reason, which I guess whatever.
Yeah. So the one that I was going to talk about here, I guess, would have been the Baltimore backfield and offense in general. I don't think we really need to go back into that again. The only point that I will make, obviously Lamar is going to run more, but is this going to force him to pass the ball more? I mean, if they have two retread running backs who, were decent, and then a rookie guy that's undrafted, and he's their go-to. They've got Trenton Cannon, who's been looked at as more of like a special teams kind of guy. Maybe he has to step in and be a breather guy now a little bit more. But Baltimore in general is a triage unit. It's literally the entire team right now is just injured. So
Marcus Peters tore his ACL today too.
Yeah. That sucks.
I mean, it's just, and I don't know if this is, if this is what teams get because they didn't want to play their starters in the preseason or whatever, since it was shorter and this and that. Not that I would think that that's some kind of weird karma, but I don't know. I'm very questionable on their offense right now outside of Lamar.
What about Andrews?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a few leagues where I have Andrews on the roster, and I still think he'll be okay. I don't know if he's going to be like a top tight end.
I think this helps him, actually.
I do
too.
now.
I moved him ahead of Hawkinson right after I heard this news.
Yeah, I think it'll give him, a much better edge now. Beforehand, I had him and was like, all right, well, he's still a solid option. It's not like I'm sitting there worried about streaming because I have him on my roster. But yeah, I do like his upside. He does get a slight uptick from me now too. Other than that, though, I mean, are we looking at Duvernay? Is he gonna shine this year?
Who knows, man? I don't know. This team, this whole offense outside of Lamar is
gonna
just a
figure
guy.
out how to not be injured.
Nah, I mean, I think this whole offense outside of Lamar and Andrews is now a big fat fade for me. So, So something I'm interested in is watching this Denver backfield. I want to see how it plays out with Mel Gordon and Javonte Williams. We already talked about Javonte a little bit and how talented he is, but Gordon's. I don't know if Jordan's just a guy at this point, but he doesn't really wow you, right? I mean, he's been a big volume play back for a while, and now you got to imagine he's not going to get the volume. The problem is Williams probably won't either. So this is a true split backfield. I couldn't rank either one of these guys very high. I did put Williams slightly higher in my draft rankings, but I didn't get very much of either of these guys. I took Gordon and Williams a couple of times in best ball just because they're gonna have games where they both pop. But in redraft, normal season long leagues where you've got to set a roster every week, it's gonna take an injury, I feel like, for one of these guys to really just come out on top. But it'll be interesting because I do think Williams is the better talent. It's just a matter of if they're going to give the majority of the workload consistently enough, and that's what I'm interested in watching. So I don't know, any quick thoughts on that before you give your next one, Shane?
No, I've been saying that all offseason. I think Melvin is going to be a bigger pain in the butt to Javonte Williams managers than people are anticipating. I agree. Williams is the more talented back there, and to me, Gordon at this point is just an inefficient plotter. But I think he's still going to be annoyingly present to where Williams managers aren't going to get what they want as fast as they want. I think by week 8, at least that's what I'm hoping for the few shares of Javonte that I do have, that by week 8, Javonte will be getting more of the lion's share. But yeah, I completely agree with what you said.
All right, so what's your next situation you're
okay? So I'm gonna group these together as one, if you guys don't mind. So it's 4 wide receiver rooms, and it's actually 4 of the more talented ones. So it's the Cowboys, the Bucks, the Rams, and the Bengals.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm intrigued by all four of these is they've all got loads of talent. And all of the situations to me point to we don't know who the wide receiver one is necessarily going to be on these guys. So I'm going to be kind of watching that week to week, especially early on, to see where these quarterbacks go. Because like Stafford, is it going to be Cup or Woods? How much does Higbee get sprinkled in there?
Right.
With the Cowboys, they've got
three of
weapons
them.
for days. Yeah, I mean,
Gallup dominated the first drive for them until the touchdown that Lamb got. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you on that. In fact, I had the Cincy offense kind of written down as one of mine, too.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you.
Well, and that one is like it's T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Boyd. And people, I feel like, are freaking out about what Jamar Chase said about the
As they should.
the balls being different or whatnot. And I don't know. I think he's probably just a dumb kid. Like at this point, he's still just a dumb kid, and not thinking about what he's saying. I think it'll end up working itself out because he's talented enough. It may linger as a drops question more this season, but after this season, I don't think it should be a problem. I'd be shocked if he ends up being a complete bust.
Yeah, that was interesting, though. Like, oh, the ball's harder to catch because it doesn't have the white stripes on it. Like, oh, good God. Stop it.
Yeah.
You're being paid millions of dollars to catch a football. Guess what? Go do it. No, I'm with you, though. All of these are there. And I'm totally blanking on which show it was now that we had early in the off, during the draft season here. But
Our AFC North show?
No. It was just a general
that's
statement.
another one, too. The Steelers. Yeah, but somebody made a comment that the fact that like these crowded wide receiver rooms they don't shy away from them. They don't go, oh, there's too many mouths to feed. Like these guys are all gonna get the ball, right? They're all gonna get theirs. So like you don't necessarily have to worry about who the wide receiver one is. Yeah, they're not gonna be a Stephon Diggs. They're not gonna be an Adams. They're not gonna be a Calvin Ridley. They're not gonna be that level. They can be on any given week, sure. Consistently wise, no. But it's one of those, like, these guys are all gonna be, really good. So, target them as your wide receiver 2s and, 3s and be happy with, the floor they're gonna give you, and then the ceiling weeks that they give you are gonna be just monster. So massive.
That's the way I looked at it in most of those situations. And we're already seeing it tonight. These guys are all just spreading the ball around, and everybody's getting theirs. So it's just that's the way it goes. So AJ, what's your next one?
Yeah, I'm just now seeing a touchdown. I'm trying to see who it was to, though.
Amari.
Yeah, I'm not an Amari fan, but yeah,
we both hate Amari Cooper.
He's just too inconsistent for me.
Oh, from a fantasy perspective, absolutely.
Yeah. For the price he goes for in drafts, his consistency is terrible. I'm like, I'd rather take somebody way later than him.
Yeah,
he'll have his 3 40-point games, and it'll carry him to like wide receiver 10 for the whole year. And you're like, yeah, but he wasn't.
Yeah. No, my co-host though got me signed Amari Cooper jersey because we're both Cowboys fans.
Oh, jeez.
So
man.
I've got that.
Notre Dame and Cowboys. Why are you here? Just kidding.
Blame my grandfather. R.I.P.
I mean, we got an ex-Washington fan, and we got an Eagles fan over here. We got a Giants fan as the producer, and Keith. Like, what happened? How'd you let this one sneak in, Keith?
Keith, how did I slip through?
Anyway,
he was the Eagles fan. What? Oh.
The Eagles?
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, what you got, man?
Well, speaking of all of those teams we just talked about, it's a beautiful segue into my will the NFL least East transform back into the feared division it once was with the quote-unquote new quarterbacks and, of course, Danny Dimes, which, whatever. Sorry, Keith. Sorry, not sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm not at all. I just want to see if Daniel Jones can even grow a mustache that has a third of the hair of my own, and then maybe I'll give him some props. Doubt it, but
I want to see if he can run 75 yards.
I could outrun him 75 yards and not butt fumble it.
Oh man.
Anyway, so by new quarterbacks, I mean obviously a healthy Dak, who is by far and away the best quarterback in this division. Jalen Hurts is still trying to figure out if his team even likes him, or if they want to ship him off for Deshaun Watson. And then you've got the Beard, one of my all-time favorite quarterbacks of all time. Favoritism, I guess you could say. I just think it's going to be very interesting to see, this team, all the division games in this team and with these teams are always back and forth. They're always great games. I feel like they're close games a lot of the times, unless, any of the teams are playing the Giants, and then it's just not really that close.
Wow.
Not sorry again, Keith. You can chime in anytime.
Keith is allowed to unmute and yell at you.
I'm laughing. Don't worry. This is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. I hate the Giants as much as you guys hate the Giants.
Hey, that's fine.
True typical Giants fan fashion. Yeah, I hate the Giants.
I actually don't really hate the Giants as much as
I know. They're like my least
Dallas or football team, because I mean they're just it's almost just embarrassing to continue to hate on them that much. But I think I've made my point. I don't know. What do you guys think of this division? Do you think it's gonna kind of come back into prominence, and aside from the division games where they're just going to beat up on each other probably, or are we just looking at Dallas running away with this?
No.
Dallas?
I mean, it's going to be between Dallas and football team. It's not going to be the Eagles. I'm sorry. Also not sorry.
I think I've actually picked the football team to win this division, because I think it comes down to defense. Their defense is the best in the division.
They're by
a
far
long shot. Then Keith, you'll enjoy this. I think it's probably the Giants, and then who knows what the Cowboys and Eagles.
Well, the Cowboys have now turned Tampa over twice thanks to their running backs sucking. Rojo fumbled, and then Fournette dropped a just easy catch.
No, that was just picked off.
Fournette let it go right through his hands, and then the guy picked it off behind him.
Oh,
love it.
Yeah, so both their running backs are probably benched for the game, and I believe
it's Keyshawn Vaughn season. Let's go.
They don't have what's his name that they signed?
Gio Bernard.
Yeah, is he hurt? Is he hurt this game?
Oh,
is he out? Yeah, I know he was questionable. I missed the start of the game, so I haven't seen. I was at my daughter's softball practice.
They don't have. I'm going to totally butcher this, but Dare Ogunbowale.
Ogunbowale.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, sure you did.
He's in Jacksonville, I think.
Yeah, he's in Jacksonville. But yeah, so who knows what they're going to do with their running back situation? But no, this division still sucks. I'm sorry. Washington is the slim favorite in my opinion, only because of the defense. But I mean, people think if Fitzpatrick is going to be the savior for them at quarterback, no. There's a lot of people that don't think he's going to start the entire season, and then we're talking about Heineke, and it's just
understand that.
Why? The only thing holding them back is a quarterback. Go get one. Figure this out.
I'm fine with Fitzpatrick.
For fantasy-wise, I love him, but for actual NFL games, no.
I don't know. I mean, he's better than what they had last year.
No, of course. I mean,
long shot.
That's not hard to beat. But
but
he is player of the year.
Where the rest of the team is, they're gonna
Come on, that guy stepped on the field and got comeback player of the year. He didn't even have to do anything. Yeah. He could have fumbled and thrown 10 interceptions each and nothing else, and just been comeback player of the year.
30 for 30 story. Okay,
it's fine. Hey, it's a great story. I never thought he would play again, but No, division's not great. But let me move on here. My next one here is honestly these rookie quarterbacks. We've obviously got Trey Lance, who's going to be sitting behind Dalton for I don't know what, maybe a quarter, and then we've got Trey Lance that is super intriguing. Playing maybe side by side with Garoppolo at times, or who knows what's going to really happen. Literally have no idea dude. I mean, why wouldn't they? Like, they here just hand the ball up. Bye. Like, who knows? Like, what? I wouldn't put it past Shanahan to do something like that. But then you got guys like, obviously we got Trevor Lawrence, who is the number 1 pick, and is probably what a lot of people who are smarter than me, football call the best quarterback prospect to come out in a long ass time, and
looking too
since Luck, right?
Yeah, just about it. And then we got Wilson, right, for the Jets, who I kind of was like, I don't know. And then like, dude, the preseason games, he looked sharp. I really started liking him as the more he played, and I get it, like the preseason. Even the Jets, like when they were playing their starters, they were playing against backups a lot because nobody was playing their starters. But like he still looked really good and way better than I thought he would. So like he is also intriguing. So all of these rookie quarterbacks, I kind of want to see how they're going to perform, with actual NFL schemes being placed against them, not these backups and things like that. So, I think this is a very good top end of the quarterback class, one of the better ones we've had in a while. So I'm very curious.
You forgot one too.
Fields, Wilson, Lawrence, and Lance, and
Mac Jones, baby.
All right, I did forget one. Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Good old dad bod.
Yeah. So
Mac
Jones got put against Cam Newton. So that's totally another one. It's just that. I mean, we talked about
That's my question for him.
I mean,
is he gonna throw
people like Myers a lot. He's really looked good.
I think Myers
and then those tight ends obviously are top notch. So I think that's going to help him. And then you know what? Like, I really think Mac Jones being there helps James White's value out tremendously. Because with Cam there, like, he just never used him. So I think that helps out a lot too. But yeah, you're right. That's totally another one. I did not list that one down. I don't know. I'm just making my notes just from my head, and it didn't just went right over me for some reason. But yeah, good one. So yeah, anyway, that's mine. Shane, do you got any other ones that you want to mention?
Wait. The only other one is the Broncos quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Just because I would be shocked, and I've felt this way if Locke was the starter. I'll be shocked if one of them plays the entire season without ever getting yanked. I think with Teddy starting, they're going with the more conservative route. So he might last longer than I thought Locke was going to. But if they get in games where they need someone to get in a shootout, man, I could see Teddy getting yanked for Locke to try and keep up with. I mean, because if you think about it, they've got to keep up with Kansas City and the Chargers 4 games out of their 17.
Yeah.
Why the heck are you not starting Locke in those games?
I mean, obviously, so erratic. Like,
oh, totally. But you almost need that erraticism and the ability or the willingness to take shots to keep you in those games, because otherwise you're gonna get smoked.
Yeah,
just like Brown did by Dallas.
You mean the opposite way?
No, they're both brown.
Oh,
brown on brown.
No,
and Brown won. One of them.
It's a tough call, man. I don't know which one to pick. Yeah.
Antonio, always.
I know. Anyway, yeah. So I think that's all I've got. AJ, you got any more? I don't have any more. I think we've mentioned most of them.
No, I mean the Denver offense in general. Was one.
Yeah.
No, I mean I think we can move on.
All right, so the next topic I wanted to bring up here is, it's early on. We've just come out of drafts. There's a lot of guys on the waiver wire that are pretty low owned, but getting some pretty big hype, and but they're still low owned for whatever reason. And so just some guys to watch for, or maybe stash if you've got, some junk on your bench, or maybe you had Gus Edwards and you got to go just pick up somebody. The first guy I've got written down here is Brian Edwards.
I love that.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see him less than 25% rostered. Now we use the Yahoo roster percentage list here, but AJ, thoughts on Brian Edwards?
I like Edwards. I thought that he was potentially the better draft pick for them last year, ahead of Ruggs, even though Ruggs was the first receiver taken in the draft. Both of them dealt with a lot of injury issues and whatnot, and that's the only thing that I'm worried about with Edwards, being held back because of that. But I'm not seeing any signs of it right now, and I like the upside.
Yeah, I mean, when you get compared to T.O. and Randy Moss, man, you better be good.
It's okay company. I mean, it's not Jerry Rice or but
Shane, any other thoughts on Brian Edwards before I move on, or?
I mean, he's got sneaky upside, because after Darren Waller, who is Derek Carr going to throw to? Brian Edwards. I really like Henry Ruggs, but both of those guys are really good late values in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they're both good. They're both good there. Next one on my list is Terrace Marshall, and the Carolina slot man, probably the biggest slot receiver I've ever seen in my life. But I mean, that's what he did at LSU, and he was great at it. And he's got DJ Moore there. He's got Robbie Anderson there. So it's going to be tough to find the targets. So I guess I get it, but I think the upside is right there, as long as as long as quarterback can get on the ball. Darnold can actually be decent now that he's away from the Jets. Shane, what's your thoughts there?
And Adam Gase.
You're right.
I love this, especially from a dynasty perspective. I think he's got a lot of potential. There was a meme that was going around where it was like, when she tells you not to worry about the other guy, and then it's the other guy, and it was Terrace Marshall just going up and mossing on a touchdown in practice or whatnot, and then Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore are just sitting there like, well, shit.
Yeah.
But
I like it.
Like you said, the upside is there, but the question is, how is he going to get any path to targets? Because you've got DJ Moore, you've got Robbie Anderson, then it's Terrace Marshall, and that's just the wide receiver room. We're forgetting, not we as in this collective room, but we as a fantasy collective and Twitter are forgetting that Christian McCaffrey is coming back.
Yeah. He's going to steal a lot of those as well.
A lot of targets. Christian McCaffrey in 2019 was a 1,000-yard rusher and receiver.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be humongous for the values of DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Terrace Marshall. So I'm just, with him being third on that pecking order right now, unless he just pops immediately, I'd be a little weary, but he'd be someone I'd be willing to stash.
Yeah, he's definitely more of a watch guy for me than stash, unless you're in a super deep league. Obviously Dynasty, he's been rostered everywhere. So
yeah.
Next guy on my
round.
What?
I was just saying in Dynasty he was going in second round.
He was first round in mine.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I ended up getting Elijah Moore after him, and I was super happy.
I love that for you.
Yeah. So next guy on my list is Mr. Tony Jones from New Orleans. Now that they've let Latavius Murray go, I feel like people are maybe slow to the news. I feel like he's picked up in Scott Fish all over the place, and in a bunch of the leagues that I'm in, he was snagged. Now that this first waiver run went through, and maybe that's just what needed to happen. But I feel like on Yahoo, most people are first come first serve at this point. So why he is rostered at 25% or less at this point, I was just mystified because I mean, like, look, Tony Jones was getting some talk, it was garnering some noise toward the end of the preseason, and then they finally let Latavius Murray go. Like, that was always the talk, and so I went and like snagged him in a couple places like late, just why not? And I got lucky, and Murray got let go for real, and I think people need to catch up to this one because the second running back in New Orleans has always had value. Kamara is never a 30 touch a guy game. He's going to get his, but that's never his game, and he is probably going to get hurt once or twice this year because that's just what he does. And those games, Tony Jones is going to go off.
Eat.
Yeah. So Shane, Tony Jones, yay, nay?
Oh, yay. Like, thumbs up. No, if he's still available, I would definitely go pick him up. Because, I mean, hell, I had Kamara and Latavius Murray last year in Scott Fish Bowl, and there were weeks I played both of them, and I got value out of both of them.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Tony Jones slides into that role. He's younger. He's probably got a little more bang for his buck than Murray does. Yeah, I'm all in on Tony Jones wherever I can get him. So this is an unpopular opinion on Twitter, but this is just how I like to play fantasy football. If you have Kamara and you don't have Tony Jones, I think you're doing it wrong. And that's just my personal opinion because I know other people are like, go grab other people's handcuffs. Well, if I can get my own handcuff to lock up that backfield, because like you said, Kamara's going to get hurt, then you plug in Tony Jones for that week, and holy mother of God, you're getting both the touches combined into one player. So, like, for me, I'm trying to secure that backfield if I can. So if you've got Kamara, like, I want to have Tony Jones.
Yeah, there's only a certain number of backfields where I would even consider taking the handcuff. That's one of them. It is
Minnesota.
Yeah, Dallas, Minnesota, although
Cleveland.
maybe not this year because last year Madison was just garbage. But there are definitely backfields where you do that and then you just don't do that. You'd be better off if you're trying to get the handcuff for New England, right? You're just going like, who knows, whatever.
Arizona.
Go take the next guy up for another team. Like when the guy gets hurt, like go out and get the better, player elsewhere who's going to get a starting role, when they get hurt. And that's just my thing. So like handcuffs are tough because, I mean, unless your guy actually does get hurt, you are kind of wasting a roster spot. But Tony Jones, that offense for years has had the RB2 have value. And so that's why I put him on this list immediately as soon as I saw it. The next guy up here for me is Paris Campbell. Ty being hurt for the first few weeks here is going to be very, very interesting for him. Paris Campbell has had some injury problems, but I think he's super talented, and I think he's worth at least a watch list type guy here. Yeah. AJ, any thoughts on Campbell real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I like Campbell. I think Wentz has. It's been a while since he's really had a strong receiving core to go with. It's just always been, him to Ertz. So I like Campbell to hopefully kind of break that tight end quarterback, room camaraderie a bit, and that he gets more of a chance. We know what Jack Doyle is. We know what Mo Alley Cox is. They're going to get some action, but if this offense is going to move, and especially with Wentz actually having a decent line in front of him again, then I like Campbell's upside for sure.
Yeah, me too. The last one here I've got, and it's a trio of players, and it's sort of whoever you like most, I suppose. Randall Cobb, MVS, and Alan Lazard. They're all under 25%. Dude, one of these guys is gonna go off. I mean, last year it was Lazard before he got hurt. I mean, he was great. MVS is gonna have his weeks. Randall Cobb will probably have his. I am very, very interested to see who Rodgers uses the most as the number 2 receiver. Look, maybe it's none of them. Maybe he just spreads it out to all of them, and it's obviously he's going to pepper Devontae Adams. But I don't know. Shane, you don't seem to like either of these guys.
I'm an anomaly. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. I have 3 favorite teams, okay, in the NFL.
All right.
Packers, Cowboys, and Browns. So as a Packers fan, I cannot stand these 3 dudes. They, like, MVS has stone hands. He's obviously got the speed to take the top off the defense, and for some reason, Rodgers will still throw him the ball. I don't understand it because of how often he drops the ball. Yeah. Lazard, I just don't see it. Like, I don't get it. And then Cobb, like, it's a great story that he's back in Green Bay. Hopefully they can win a championship, and him and Rodgers Devontae can all retire and ride off into the sunset. But I'm not rostering any of these 3 guys. Like, I can't, like, they're all too inconsistent for me. So if I'm taking a shot on a guy being the second wide receiver for the Packers outside of Adams, Tanya, and Aaron Jones, I'm actually going with the rookie Amari Rodgers.
Interesting. Okay.
I like it.
That is very interesting. I mean, look, I can get on board with that, honestly. Like, it's really the reason why I put them all together is just because I think somebody is going to pop out of that group eventually. Like, I find it hard to believe that Rodgers isn't just going to finally start figuring out who his number 2 is. And last year, we kind of saw it. It was Lazard. And then he got hurt and couldn't get back on the field. I think if Lazard can stay healthy, I think he's obviously the guy. I mean, you mentioned it. MVS has stone hands. Cobb has always kind of been slot man Cobb, and he's had up and down. Even when he was in his
old and hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
It's like T.O. still being in the league and going back to San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, T.O.'s a hell of a lot better than Cobb. Cobb's had great seasons. Die, bitch. Got it. Nailed it.
Oh, God. live podcasting, folks. There we go. We got it. Yeah, but
that was the Eagles to the Giants this year. Every game.
Oh, my gosh.
And probably the only 2 games.
Keith is glad this is short-lived. Jesus.
They will be the bug.
that we're going to be replacing him soon. You're just ripping on the Giants. Anyway, man, let's
when Keith's not here. I mean,
I know, but at least I don't have to hear it live in his face. Anyway, let's rip through some injuries here, AJ. I'll take the left column here. You take the right column. Starting off with some running backs, and Austin Eckler dealing with a hamstring, hasn't really practiced this week so far, and he missed a bunch of games last year with a hamstring. This is worrisome to me, Shane. Like, this is one, like, we're only going to stop on a couple of these. This one actually worries me. Like, I had him really high up on my rankings list initially, dropped him as soon as this happened, like, into the second round. I had him at the very back end of the first round. But, I mean, how worried are you with this injury already popping back up? And then who's the next man up, in your opinion?
From what I've seen, from what I've seen on Twitter is everyone wants it to be Larry Roundtree. But what the Chargers are actually saying is that the next man up is Justin Jackson.
Yeah.
So that's the guy that I'm trying to roster.
I think everybody just wants to be the new guy because we've seen Justin Jackson not really do it.
Yeah, no.
So,
totally.
I get it. So,
but I'm worried.
Yeah.
Especially just because I love Eckler.
I know,
and was hoping to finally get like the full.
I've got it.
Herbie
Fish. Please come
Herbie
back.
fully loaded with Eckler, like it was going to be glorious.
I thought I had my running back room like fully loaded myself with Scott Fish. I had Eckler, I had Carson, and I randomly grabbed James Robinson pretty late in Scott Fish. And as soon as that happened, I was like, yes.
ETN too, though.
Not in Scott Fish. Different. I'm in too many leagues. That was Rasball. My Rasball team is already dead. I had Akers. I had ETN. I had Xavier Jones. I'm out. I'm already gone. nothing I can do with that team.
I have
It's
to look
done.
at mine.
I'm out. I finally tweeted the group today, and they were just like, "Well, nice play with you, Joe." And I was like, "Yeah, see ya, guys. See you next year." So
Been fun.
anyway,
See myself
yeah.
out.
So we already talked about Justice Hill with the Ravens, so we'll move on there. Like I said, I'll take the left column here. AJ, we got a bunch of these receivers all dealing with like hamstrings or knees or whatever, and I think most of them are gonna play, if not all of them. So DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, undisclosed injuries, but I think they're gonna play. Ayuk, Galladay dealing with hamstrings. Galladay is kind of the only one that sort of worries me more than any of them, just because he's been dealing with it all preseason. It just
I think Ayuk practiced this week.
Yeah, I think he's getting some work.
Yeah, I put a lot of these in from like Tuesday.
Yeah, and then we got Diggs and Brown dealing with knee injuries. I think they're good to go. Obviously, Antonio Brown is on here, and then we've got Odell Beckham and Dede Westbrook dealing with knees. I think they're good to go though. Justin Jefferson, Marvin Jones dealing with shoulders, and then Thielen dealing with a thigh injury. But again, I think most of these guys are going to go week one. They're just playing it safe. They're not trying to rush them through. The first week. These guys are all, they're all vets. They know what to do. So
yeah. So sticking with receiver here, we got a triumvirate of guys dealing with a groin injury between Tyler Lockett, Curtis Samuel, and Tyrell Williams. We got Darius Slayton with an ankle injury. Will Fuller, we obviously know, is suspended for week one, and that's still from last year, so he won't be playing, but it's not injury related. Jameson Crowder is on COVID reserve. T.Y. Hilton, we already touched on. He's on IR with neck injury. Shocking to see a Baltimore Raven on here. Rashad Bateman is on the IR with a groin injury.
Entire team's gonna be hurt.
He was actually one of the guys that I had on the under 25% rostership.
Yeah.
To go grab, especially if your league has an IR, because you can stick him there, and then he'll be back. We don't know when yet, but he should be back this season.
I think it's only like 3 or 4 weeks is what they were initially claiming, but
so I'd go grab him, stash him on your IR.
But
that offense is going to be different than what everybody expected. So he could be much bigger than. And people really like him too, so I get it. Yeah, I like that. He was
getting a lot of hype, and I guess he just wasn't nearly as good at tummy sticks as Lockett, Samuel, and Williams because they're only questionable. And then Michael Thomas is on the pup for his ankle. He will return at some point.
Maybe. We have no idea.
We thought that last year. I don't know. Sorry, Shane.
Oh, man.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so moving on to tight end.
Me with that one.
We got Noah Fant with a leg injury. We got Evan Ingram
it was
here.
either that or Dick Chicken. So,
Yeah. Evan Ingram. I just ignore him sometimes. We got Evan Ingram here with a calf injury that seems to be like, there were rumors that this might be, I don't know, season ending might have been a little too drastic, but that was being said. But it sounded like he might go on the IR. He hasn't yet, but it doesn't sound like he's playing this week. I mean, what's your thoughts with Ingram, entering this season, knowing that this calf injury is, giving him fits?
Patrick,
I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm done with Evan Ingram. I've been done. I'm even more done now. Like, just go. Like, you didn't live up to your potential. You've pissed me off now. You're hurt or stone hands. Like, just get out of my life, Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Go sell insurance or something.
I took him as my tight end too in a bunch of best ball leagues, so that kind of hurts if he doesn't play. So it was sort of like he just kept falling, and I was like, well, fine. I mean, I know he's going to get thrown to for whatever reason. I'm not sure anymore, but he's going to get thrown to. Sure. I'll take a chance. And now he's hurt. So that's awesome. And on the same token, Kyle Rudolph is hurt. So, yeah, I don't know who they're going to throw to there. Finish it up, AJ.
G-Man.
Yeah. We just love it, Keith.
I won't be
half
watching
dying
them on Sunday.
inside.
Don't worry.
I won't be
promise.
watching Red Zone.
Yeah, so a couple of guys that we still have on the list here. If I can get back to it, there we go. Hunter Henry has been dealing with this shoulder injury in the preseason,
Shocker.
so he hasn't played much. I know. God, talk about injury-riddled tight ends. And then Hawk, we already talked about a little bit. He's also dealing with shoulder, specifically the AC joint. A couple other guys that I had looked at but didn't put on. Nick Boyle, again, Baltimore, knee, MCL, he's doubtful.
Jesus
So
Christ,
that
man.
also bumps up Mark Andrews.
They need to cut the grass and relay the sod. And
Yeah.
Who knows, man? That's
I don't
just
know. Like,
abysmal here.
Irv Smith, I don't think we talked about him yet. He is on the IR with
is he out all year?
meniscus.
He is done. He's out.
He is out all season?
He's done for the whole year.
Okay, so
Sucks.
Tyler
Another one of my
Conklin.
favorite tight end 2 targets in best ball.
Mm-hmm.
Peace. My
Yeah.
best ball teams suck already. So.
And we talked about
Yeah.
we talked about Rudolph. Oh, you know what else is funny? Caden Smith for the Giants is also questionable with a knee
Jesus
injury.
Christ, do they have a healthy tight end on the roster?
They have
No.
Levine Tolioliolo or whatever. He is on the
Nice.
IR with an Achilles.
Oh, I thought
Yes,
you were
that's-
saying he was healthy.
Nope. That's not his last stand.
So no, they do not have a tight end apparently.
And wait, here's a guy. Here's a guy that's on the roster. Ryson John. Maybe they
Okay,
put it
we can move
backward.
on.
He's on the IR with an ankle injury, so no healthy tight ends.
Sweet baby
Oh,
Jesus.
Oh man,
That's it. That's,
Keith, I'll be
that's-
praying for you on Sunday.
like you said, he's not watching. I
But
don't blame him.
there's a ton of guys on this list that are free agents here. You got Virgil Green, ankle questionable.
All right, stop it, AJ.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
We're done.
All right, let's finish things up here, Shane, and we're gonna jump into some DFS plays. So we're gonna go through some what I call smash plays. These can be those high price players that you're just going like, you know what? I don't really care how much you cost. I'm plugging you in my lineups. In most of them, these are going to be the guy that you start with. You're just going like, yep, click, and then move on from the rest. We're going to go with some fades. Obviously, guys that you just want nothing to do with this week in most cases. And then some value plays. Some guys that are, probably more like in the lines of like the 6,000 and below range. You can go even into the 4,000 below range that
I've got a
can
couple
just
then.
can just be this smash plays at this point. In the opposite ways of being smashed from the top. So I'm going to start with one here. Actually, two. Like I'm going to take the two easy ones. Christian McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook. Like they are the two highest priced players on the slate. But
Yeah.
by the way, this is DraftKings. Everybody, that's what I focus with. That's where I play. But Christian McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook, two highest priced players on the slate. Their matchups are so sweet. Like starting the year off, Christian McCaffrey goes against the Jets, and then Dalvin Cook goes against Cincy. Like, yes, they're just gonna eat all game long. Like, I don't want anything to do with those passing offenses. It's gonna be all the running backs. Bye bye. Like, that's it. So yeah, just give me those guys. Let me start with one of them, and I'll move on from there. I'm assuming you agree, Shane.
Yes. Cook
Yeah.
was one of the guys I had on my
Yeah,
I had three
absolutely.
of the bigger targets, and Cook was one
Yeah.
of my three.
So who's another smash play that you like?
Yeah, the other two for me that are just bigger guys, bigger price guys, are Calvin Ridley and Alvin Kamara. Ridley
Yeah.
is going against Philly. Sorry, AJ, but I don't know what that defense is going to be able to do to stop him. And then Kamara with MT being out, Jameis being the starter, like I think Kamara is just going to get a shit ton of value volume. And even for Kamara, like if he sees 65% of the snaps, he's going to have a good day. Like
Yeah.
those are two I'm all in on.
My only worry with Kamara, and I've mentioned this before in past shows, is there was an article that our old producer Jeff Hicks sent to us and saying that, Winston doesn't actually check down to his running backs.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't. Now it's a different offense, and they, Sean Payton game plans to get Kamara the ball, so like that will be different. Kamara will get his, but I think he will lose some value this year just because Drew Brees, like his safety valve was always look Kamara's way whenever things wasn't open deep. Winston was just like, no, I want that, and I'm going to throw it down that way anyway, regardless of how bad it is.
Interception.
Right?
So my
30 for 30.
Talk about 30 for 30.
My only hope, Joe, is that
That's a
after
fantasy
sitting
six-pack full circle.
behind Breeze and learning from Breeze and Peyton, that Jameis will make some better decisions.
You would hope.
We'll
You would
see.
hope. Yeah, we will all see. I think that is the hope for sure. But time will tell. But no, I still like Kamara.
And what running backs did he have to actually want to check down to?
That's a good point.
I mean, are we going back to Dariagabawabalabaday?
Peyton
No.
Barber?
Well, yeah, shit. Barber was pretty good out of the
No,
backfield.
Peyton Barber was 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And that's
no,
coming from
AJ. He
all
wasn't.
that
He
fans.
wasn't.
Done?
He wasn't good.
No, wait, that was.
He wasn't there.
They're
No,
both Florida State,
no.
so I don't know.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
no,
this.
look at
I'm gonna
Florida
say
State.
this too. Another guy that you can kind of that you can set up lineups around. I think like a Kelsey Mahomes stack would be phenomenal, or even Kelsey and Hill stack would be good here. I know they're both very high priced, so that's going to set you back in other places. But I mean, Cleveland's defense is going to
Okay,
be
I got value
improved.
plays for you.
But yeah, I mean, like again, with week one, we're going to get dudes like Taysom Williams, who's going to cost nothing, who shouldn't have been on the. Well, yeah, he's Monday night, so that doesn't count. But there are going to be guys like that
There
are
are games
super
that
duper cheap.
drift into Monday.
So, but yeah. I mean, yeah, if you play the full weekend, including Monday,
Monday's
then yeah,
slate,
absolutely.
And they're going to have to update it before the game, I would assume. But if you're going,
They can't update. They can't update the values at this point. They've been set. They can't do it.
No, but I'm talking about. Can you do the like what the hell, the MVP crown guy or whatever? If you just play the Monday slate and you pick the 5 players, his price is going to have to go up for that.
the showdowns.
Yes.
I still don't think
don't
they
know if
can.
you can-
I still don't think they can change it because there have been people that have entered with the old pricing.
All right.
You can't change it. That's how it works. That's why I always kind of
And
think it's
he's
silly.
the-
DK comes
he is
out
your
with their pricing
captain
for week.
every fucking
That's why.
showdown
That's why
that
I
you
don't.
do.
That's why I think it's kind of silly that DK and FanDuel comes out with their pricing so early for week one. But hey, they still make their money, so they're fine.
Yeah, they hopped on the bus, Gus.
Shane,
Now
you
they
got
can make a
any?
new
You got any other
plan.
ones? I got one more smash play that I really like, but
No, the rest of mine are value plays.
all right, I got one more, and to me, it's Aaron Jones. He's not super high priced, and I mean he's 6,800, so you could technically call him a value play. But he's going against New Orleans, who, I mean, they got a good offense, but or a good defense, but like I still think Jones is just going to get his. I think at 6,800, that's almost like an automatic.
Oh.
Like you need to be in my lineup.
Joe, I actually lied. There is one, and we actually
All right.
talked about him in the last segment. It's AJ Brown against Arizona.
Okay. Yeah. I like that.
So, I mean, he's at 7,100, and I don't know if Arizona is going to be able to stop him. So,
Yeah, I like
I don't
that.
think they
I like
will.
that a lot, actually. So, all right, what are some fades for you, Shane? I'll let you start this one.
shameless plug here, but if you read the starts and sits article for Fantasy Collective that was released, I think this morning, it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So the only thing that I think positively that will benefit CEH this week is game script. I think he could be used more in the passing game because I think this game could end up being a shootout. But Cleveland's defense is absolutely nasty. On paper, as a Browns fan, I'm hoping to see that translate onto the field. But I mean, their defensive line, you've got Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney just to start, and then now you've got JOK coming in to be a freaking a hornet.
They did well in the draft. They did very well in the draft, and
so
I get it.
I think that combined with he's a little injured. I think he's dealing with an ankle. That's my biggest concern with CEH. So he's my fade of the week.
Yeah, my fade is Saquon. He's the 6th highest price.
7,800, I think, is what I just saw.
Running back is 78, which for Saquon is cheap. But we've all heard the rumors that he's going to be, kind of slowed played into the offense.
On a pitch count.
And he's going against Denver. Like, no thanks. Sorry. I don't. You can't pay for Saquon. Like, somebody will, and if he goes off, they're going to win. Because it's just, it's going to be that one random off play that's going to work. But that's a no for me. I'm not even close to paying for that.
I mean, if I was picking one, I would look at Herbert, honestly.
Herbert against Washington. That's a good. I'm not interested week.
What's his price, AJ?
It's 67 actually, man. It's not bad.
6,700. It's not bad.
Horrible, but still.
There's some guys under him who I think I'd rather play, and I have one listed in my values.
Save $200 and get Tannehill.
Going against Arizona and stack it with AJ Brown. Hello.
Yeah.
That's what I've got a lineup pulled up right now, and I've got that exact stack in it.
Hurts against Atlanta. That's a good one too. Yeah, I like it.
I've also got Julio in that lineup too, so he's going at 6,800. So I've got a Tannehill, AJ Brown, and Julio stack in this lineup.
That's solid.
Nice. I mean, I think I just don't like the Chargers in that matchup in general. I mean, especially if Eckler's out too. I mean, if he plays, which it doesn't sound like he will, it changes things a little bit. It opens more things up, but I'm just worried about Herbert.
Does anybody like Javonte Williams or even like the AJ Dillons and like the Tony Jones at 4,000? Like, I mean, are they even considered? Knowing they're going to be the backups or splitting carries. I mean, that's cheap. I mean, you get a touchdown out of them, you probably get value, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't
something
hate
to
it.
think about. I mean, if you
I
really want to pay up a whole bunch of other places, that's not the worst idea. I feel like
I don't mind. My value pick is Kareem Hunt because, again, I think this game is also going to be a shootout. He's going up against his former team. I think he's gonna, Chubb's gonna get his. I'm not worried about that, but I think this could be a game that people are thinking, oh, it's only going to be Chubb and whatever, and Hunt.
Well, no, in a shootout with Kansas City, they got to pass. That's his role.
Disappointing, with his time to shine when Chubb was injured last year. But
I've got a great stat for you, AJ. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let me get a beer. Yeah. I can still hear.
Good God.
Kareem Hunt, when Nick Chubb was in the lineup, do you know how many points per game he averaged in fantasy?
I know it was more than when he was out.
Actually, it wasn't.
Really?
It was 13.6.
Ooh.
Do you know how many he averaged when Chubb was out?
13.6.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, I guess.
I just knew it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Breaking news from Sleeper. Thank you. The Ravens and Latavius Murray are working on a deal that would bring a better free agent to Baltimore.
All right.
I knew that was going to happen, man.
Pick him up.
Good
So
for Latavius.
should I drop Devonta Freeman and then go grab?
I would. I think
what's his
because
number?
Devontae hadn't really been in the league for 2 years.
Yeah, I think
he's been on teams, but he hasn't been
used.
used.
I think he's toast, man.
He gone.
Yeah. All right. Any other fades, Shane?
Nah.
All right. Let's move in here to some values. I'm gonna start with receiver. I'm going Callaway. The dude's cheap as hell, man. Like I looked at it. I was right, but that's what I meant. Like you're going to get these guys that were, you're going to get these guys that were priced before they should have been. And Callaway's at 3,400. Like I don't care if you think Green Bay's defense is any good. 3,400 for the wide receiver one. And I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to pair this one right now. Jameis Winston's my wide receiver, my quarterback value. He's like dirt cheap because he got priced before they knew he was a starter.
Yep, I love that.
So yeah, I mean, like just plug it in. Like,
how does that even happen? It's like, yeah, we're gonna set our prices, mid-August.
They do it. They do. That's what's nuts about it. Because they just do.
That's just stupid. I mean, I've got a great value play here for quarterback.
I have 6.
All right,
but I'm gonna give you 2 that are related to what Joe just said. That these guys are clearly priced before they should have been, and it's Elijah Moore at 3,000.
Wow.
And Kyle Pitts at 4,400.
4,400. Wait. But we knew Kyle Pitts was the starter. Why the hell did that happen?
He was hyped.
I missed that one. I didn't look at tight ends very much for some reason when I was doing this.
So
I did not realize that he was 4,400. That is amazing.
So my other value play is actually Hawkinson. So even if he doesn't play, I think he's priced at. Hold on, I can pull it up because I got
all the tight ends are kind of cheap, honestly. Outside of
they
Kelsey
usually
and Kittle.
are, is what I've noticed. But I'm setting a lineup this week, it's Hawkinson or Pitts. Hawkinson's 4,900. That's stupid cheap. I feel like for the volume.
San Fran's defense is
they're good, but someone's gonna have to score fantasy points for Detroit, and even with
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Come on.
Oh, well, I love.
I know. I do too, but I feel you. I feel you here. I do. I mean, I could go with like Gerald Everett at 3,400.
Yeah.
Like the tight end, you can just punt. Like unless you really just want Kelsey, and like that could be the play. Like you have to go the Kelsey Mahomes route and just stack it there, and then build your lineup elsewhere because there's going to be tons of value. Because like your tight end, like if you don't take one of those, and I did that a ton last year. You just go after Kelsey or I'm blanking on the name right now. I'm talking last year. Waller. Yeah, you just went after Kelsey or Waller last year, and you just were like, "Fine, I'm good," and you didn't have to worry about it. And then you got so much value over everybody else at that position that you can make it up in the other positions, and that might be the case again this year because Kelsey's obviously a beast, and Kittle going against Detroit is just a lockdown. Maybe $2,000 cheaper. That's even better. So I don't know. I mean, you've got tight end sucks. Sorry,
Chase Edmonds,
it's like the catcher
at 4,600. Logan Thomas at 4,600.
I do not like Logan Thomas.
I mean,
not this year.
Love it.
Well,
not
this week either. But
I mean,
was down on
Connor's at 4,500. So
I'd go Connor because he's probably going to be the goal line back.
Yeah.
And I can't stand James Conner. Like, I'm so far out on James Conner. He's like Evan Ingram. Like, you're old, you're hurt, leave me alone, get out of my life. I don't want to talk about you anymore. But if I'm picking between
Mac Jones is 4,400.
Oh, my God.
That's
well, no, actually, I've got Mac Jones as a sit in my article, too, because the Dolphins' secondary is one of the best in the league.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like scrolling down this list of seeing names.
Yeah, there's all the rookies are super underpriced. So, but buyer beware with them, honestly, in my opinion. So, but yeah, it's there. Anyway, another value I've got here is T. Higgins.
Really? What's his price? I just don't know his price.
I saw it and I was actually shocked at how low he was. And now I can't find him on my list here, so give me a sec. Yeah, I should have written down. That would have been smart.
That would have been a good idea.
4,700.
What?
Yeah. He's going against Minnesota, and like I get they upgraded their secondary, but like, come on. T. Higgins is legit. Like, give me some T. Higgins. Why is he 4,700? Sometimes the pricing here just boggles the mind, man. Like, I get we're all worried about Chase and they've got Boyd, but that's the thing. Like, Boyd's kind of a plotter. Like, he needs to slow. Like, he's gonna get his.
Yeah.
Chase, if he's gonna struggle week 1, it's gonna go all to Higgins. Higgins is almost like he's gonna be in so many of my lineups. Yeah, that's another one of mine.
47. That's a
monster value.
Smash for me. It's a value smash.
I'm literally filling out a lineup and putting him in it right now.
Glad I could be of service.
Holy cow!
Right?
Lindsay. I don't really want
Philip Lindsay. That's a tough situation. That's another one of those. I meant to put it on the list of like situations I want to watch. Like, just the Houston offense. Like, what is it gonna be this year? I think everybody thinks Lindsay should be the guy because he's obviously young and talented, and he's proven himself. And the other guys there old. So we're just gonna move on. We're just gonna move on from them, right? They should.
No game listed. Is it because of the trade?
Oh, that is interesting.
Were their values already set before that trade? I mean, because that was
maybe
a while ago.
Yeah, but they do set these like weeks ago. Like it's kind of strange. I'm not really sure. I mean,
honestly,
anyway, Shane, what's another value you've got, man? Let's close this out.
I'll give you the last 3 that I've got. So I've got Russell Gage at 5,300, Mike Davis at 5,400, and I put in parentheses on my legitimately paper notes vomit. Because I don't like Mike Davis,
but it's a cheap running back, starting running back. I get it.
Yeah. And then I actually I put a defense on here. I put Jacksonville. They're playing Houston, and I think I gotta go. Well, I'll put them in this lineup so I can tell you what the defense is. They are where'd you go? 2,700 against Houston. Yeah, I'll take that all day.
Yeah. I mean, the Jags defense is so bad, but I can.
Yeah, but that's the kind of defense and the kind of game that you're taking one of those defenses, knowing that one of them is going to get a turnover touchdown.
You could do the Texans versus the Jags, who have a rookie quarterback, and no matter how good we think Lawrence is, it's his first real NFL game. Things could go bad real quick. And a rookie coach who is full of himself.
Dude, okay, so you brought up rookie quarterbacks earlier. My biggest fear for Trevor Lawrence is Urban Meyer. Like, I think the world of Trevor Lawrence.
I hated that signing.
I think Trevor Lawrence is, like you said, the best prospect we've seen since Andrew Luck. He's going to be great, I think. The one thing I think that can ruin him is Urban Meyer. I am terrified of that.
And 50% agree with you there, man. It is terrible. I hated that signing, and everything that he has said this entire offseason has just made me, think that even more. So, my last 2 here are running backs, and I wrote down, and they're not like cheap, but they're good enough here. I went with. You could go, both Harrises here, like Najee Harris and Damian Harris, both like, 63 and 52. Like, they're not super values, but they're cheap enough to where like I think Najee Harris, to me, like, he's the starting running back for sure. Going against Buffalo is tough, but I mean, I think Pittsburgh wants to get him the ball, so like he could be a big volume play there. Harris, New England running backs, buyer beware, but I mean, and going against Miami's defense as well, not great, but 5,200, like, you could do far worse. The last one here is obviously, I think, Mr. James Robinson. That's just another one. He's a 64. I was actually surprised at his price, but going against Houston, like, I think they're going to ride his coattails to like take a little bit of pressure off of Lawrence in this first game. That's just my feeling, and Houston's defense is garbage. So I think James Robinson could have a really big day, despite a kind of middle value there at 6,400. So
I mean, keeping with that too, you got Chenault at only 5. So
yeah, Yeah. I like that one a
not
lot.
a bad play. I mean, really, I'm looking at this whole Jets Carolina game, and everybody seems to be a value play that's not named CMC.
So would you take Terrace Marshall as your flex? Let me read you the lineup that I'm literally building on our show.
I don't
Matt Ryan,
hate it.
Dalvin Cook, CMC, T. Higgins, Elijah Moore, Ridley, Jared Cook, Jacksonville's defense. Would you throw Terrace Marshall in there as your flex?
What's your price range?
I've got 3,300 left.
3,300. Oh.
I don't hate it. I mean, that's the kind of game to me that could just turn
could get ugly
into an ugly game that's really good for DFS.
Mm-hmm. Anthony Miller's there too.
Crazy to like Byron Pringle more.
I can't do it. I can't make myself do it.
He's a big play flex guy. Like, ooh, I mean, I don't know.
All right, so 3,300 you got?
Yeah.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough, man. You're getting into the back end of the nothings.
It's ugly.
Hey,
hold on.
Got Elijah Moore.
I've already got him in the lineup.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I answered our question for who's going to play tight end for the Giants. He's not actually a tight end. It's Colin Johnson.
Wait, who is it?
Colin Johnson.
He
was cut by the Jaguars. The Giants picked him up.
There we go. All right.
I'm going to throw him in there. Why the hell not?
I mean, they're probably just going to use him to block and just use a bunch of like 4 wide receivers.
I mean, I don't hate Cephas. I
thought about him too.
I don't love the matchup. I mean, again, you got Jack Doyle in there.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of doing tight ends in the flex.
To me, man, I like the Pringle play. Like as you know, you want to go that cheap, and he's like one big play. He's gonna hit value easily. I'm not sure.
All right, I've already figured it out. Here's the play right here.
All right,
clearly, it's KJ Hamler going against none other than the New York Giants. He's not on the week 1 injury report.
AJ's cutting us off the air.
Illness.
Amon Ross A. Brown. 3,000.
Yeah. He's at 3,000.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I would take him over Cephas.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I think that's it for the show. Yeah. Right. Shane, before we let you go, man, promote your stuff, man. Let us know what you got going on this season.
Yeah, so I will be doing the Fantasy Nightcap podcast. We record Monday nights, and that'll be released Tuesday. It'll be a waiver wire show and just kind of a recap of the week. I'll be continuing Collective Knowledge, which is a show that I host on my own.
Nice.
And that will kind of be just sprinkled in on different days, typically like Tuesdays and Saturdays, maybe on Thursdays, depending on how crappy the Thursday night game is. But that's one where I'll just be getting to know the fantasy community and just trying to get to know people better in the fantasy community outside of fantasy football. So working on getting guests scheduled for that. I've got 3 good ones coming up. And I don't remember who they are right off the top of my head. Sorry. And then I'll be writing articles for Going for Two and for the Fantasy Collective. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at @FF_collective. That's KOLLECTIV. And like and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Absolutely, man. Glad to have you on, and it was a great conversation. So we will let you go here, and you have a good night, man. Good week this season.
Thanks.
Or good luck this season. Good week this season. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I suck. All right.
Go Giants.
Go Giants. All right, man. AJ, that's all we've got for the show. Just want to remind everybody to subscribe and follow our YouTube channel. We got some great football shows coming up this season. We got the Wolfpack show on Friday night. We've got the Sunday School DFS show with Dave Eddy and a friend of his on Friday night as well. We're going to be doing the last call actually with Shane's leader there at Going for Two with Jeff Lambert. And then Sunday morning, we're going to be doing a kind of a start-sit kind of injury and news update podcast with Mike LaPlante and Dylan Clemens on Sunday mornings as well. And then I think the Fantasy Edge is coming back. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. So make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel and tune into all of that. It is great stuff. So with that being said, let's close out the show.